Hello, welcome to another AO1 Conversations. This is a special day. We get to talk about how to make a goal, and not just make a goal, but how to actually find the steps of getting to that goal. So, if you're right off the bat, oh, I got an echo. If you're with us right off the back, if you can put in the comments if you already have a fitness goal. So anything that might seem short-term or might seem really big and lofty, whatever comes to mind, you can stick that in the comments. We wanted to address this head on because we don't talk about aesthetics in our company too often. It's not our focus. But when we talk about fitness goals, a lot of times what you'll hear from other fitness companies is lose 10 pounds or lose some body fat or get that beach body. And so we just wanted to address it. Like, aesthetics are not our main goal. It's a nice byproduct. Anytime you're taking care of your body will show it. But the things that we like to focus on is just that you're ready for anything. So whether an emergency comes up or it's moving day or your car won't start and you need to push it, and day to day, like keeping up with your kids and doing chores around the house. So all these things, we're building our bodies to be capable for whatever task comes its way. However, with the aesthetics, there is a good case for like a large portion of our population that is in the overweight or obese category. And really the best thing to move the health marker for you is to lose some weight. So fitness is definitely the tool to help you get there. And we recognize that. So we don't want to put down weight loss goals. We just don't want to kind of get stuck on that being the only goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. I just remember, like, especially when you're in like middle school, and a bit in high school, and probably the college years were probably the most where you feel just the pressure for those aesthetic goals. And it's funny, over time, like if you look through history, the way people want to look, it's changed a lot. And it's funny, what I see the fads are today was quite a bit different than when I was younger. When I was younger, it was all about just being really skinny, and I felt really pressured to do that. And I did it in some unhealthy ways, unfortunately. And just looking back in pictures, like, I didn't feel that I was that image, but I see myself skinny, but very like hunched over and almost like trying to hide myself. And I see like it's bad posture, and there just wasn't any confidence, and I wasn't exuding value of who I was. And that's so much more what we want. And I mean, so much growth in mindset and body image and all that over the years. And exactly like Steph, that it's the goal is now to be capable so that we can run and play soccer with our kids. Or I like the example of moving day. Like, you know, a friend wants you to move and you're able, I can lift that box. That's amazing that you can do that as a mom or whoever. But yeah, the aesthetic, it's good that, yeah, you can have some byproduct. Sure, you feel more confident maybe in your own skin as you get more in shape, but that's not the core motivation. So yeah, I never agree with that.
It's interesting, the relation to confidence there too that you mentioned, where you might be chasing this aesthetic goal and the underlying reason is to have more confidence. But then, like you said, you look back at pictures of being skinny but being hunched over. Yeah. Whereas once you know you're capable, regardless of what body image you have, like that just automatically breeds confidence. So it kind of switches it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like we mentioned before, though, there's definitely, like, losing weight is not a bad thing. Like, we don't want to demonize that either. And, you know, if whenever someone is overweight, losing some pounds is going to make a difference for their triglycerides and their cholesterol and their joints and their lungs. And like, that's awesome. And we want to celebrate that as well. So if you do have like a specific goal that a doctor's given you, or that you know that for your health you need to achieve this certain thing, feel free to put that in the comments as well. And like, we want to celebrate that. I think just how we're trying to decipher here is we just don't want to be fixated, like chasing some elusive number on the scale. That's where it kind of gets into the unhealthy range. So, yeah. So let's talk more about goals, Jas.
Yeah, so today we have titled this topic, How to Achieve Your Dreams and Goals. And it's actually way simpler than you might think. We are saying it's a 1, 2, 3 step process. And if you're just joining on the conversation now, we just encourage you in the comments to just plug down what is your fitness or your health related goals right now, or what is something maybe that's out of reach, but you really aspire and want to do. So I just wanted to start with just reminding everyone, if you haven't been around AO1 for a while, we say it over and over and over again. Our slogan is, you are more capable than you think. And what we mean by that is that we believe that there is greater potential within you to accomplish dreams that are just currently outside of your reach. And so we always encourage you to dream big and to have big goals, and then to move forward towards things that even seem impossible. And we believe this because we know that the things that are impossible today will become achievable. And we want to show you the process of how it can actually become possible and achievable for you in a fairly simple process. And actually also within your skill set. So we're not going to ask you to do anything that you're not able to do right now, like today. So again, dreaming is excellent. Keep doing it. But very important to note is that dreaming and hoping alone, that's not a strategy. That's where we start, but that's not going to get us to where we need to go. We need to start there and then work backwards. And in that process, we're going to create a roadmap for success. And that's what we want to do today. So if you haven't done so already from some of our social media posts, we had the link, but I just posted in the comments there a link for you to download a free workbook that we created for this session. It's about 10, 11 pages, so it's quite detailed on this process. And then at the end, it has a worksheet where you can just plug in your information for yourself. So go ahead and do that. And jump on and grab your free workbook.
Yeah, I'm excited about this process because, like Jas said, we're dreaming big, but not asking you to do anything outside your skill set. And you might think of a big dream and go, well, I don't have the skills for that. It's too big. So get the workbook, and we're going to expand on that and talk about all the steps getting there. So where do we start, Jas?
Okay, well, I wanted to start first with a very famous quote by Zig Ziglar, and he says, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. So that's why we want to start with the dream. We want to start there. We want to have a trajectory. We want to have a vision. We want to have an ending point of that's where I want to go. And then we're going to work backwards to create this roadmap of success. And we're going to break it down into 3 steps. And this is what we do. Okay, so you ready for the 3 steps?
3 steps. Let's see.
Okay, so number 1, we've already mentioned it. You start big. You identify and you write down your dream-sized goal. So no limitations are off. You dream, what would you absolutely love to accomplish? What would bring you so much life? What would move the needle forward in your life purpose, your dream? And then you see that dream, that life-size dream, and then you need to categorize it into a long-term goal. And when you're going to pause here, because just after I say the steps, we're going to identify what an actual goal is, because a dream can sometimes be a bit elusive and might be a little airy-fairy where it's hard to actually know if we reach it. So we want to be able to categorize that dream size into a long-term goal. So we'll do that. That's step 1. So just put a pause on that. And then step 2 is you're going to take that long-term goal and you're going to look at it from where you are now, and you need to come up with 3 large steps. So these are short-term goals. And if you accomplish these 3 large steps, kind of up a ladder, then you know you've reached that goal. So you have to kind of think through, what are the skills, what's the knowledge, what's the things that need to come into place to accomplish that. And they don't have to be within reach yet. They do not have to be achievable, the higher ones, but you need to kind of see that roadway, what would bring you to that goal. And then the last thing is you just look at those 3 short-term goals, and then you got to put in those small action steps. And this is where the key is. So the first action step that you put, that needs to be something that you can do today. It needs to be something that you can easily achieve success today. And the key to achieving your dreams is just to do that first step that you're able to do today consistently over and over and over again. And then by doing it, you're going to then gain the skills and the strength and the faithfulness and the longevity, the mindset, everything that comes with it, so that you naturally build what you need to accomplish the next step. And then you do that consistently, and then you're naturally going to reach the next step, and you're just going up the ladder. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the process of what we're doing in a nutshell.
The ladder definitely gives a good visual. So just to kind of clarify here, in your 3 short-term goals, should you be able to reach the first goal? Like, is that something you can do right now, or you have to do the action steps to get to that first goal?
You do need to do the action steps, but the first step should be within reach, but definitely need to put some effort to get there. But step 2 and 3, I don't want them to be within reach, because then it's not going to be a dream size goal. Then it's going to be I just need to get to work and I could accomplish that. But we want to think big and long term here. So step 2 and 3, they should be like, I can't do that right now, but you will if you follow the small steps to get to step 1.
So step 1 is like the carrot's there. You can see it, but you haven't reached it yet. And that'll lead you closer to your bigger carrot for step 2.
Yes, absolutely. Did anyone list any goals that they're working on right now? If we want to pause.
Yeah, Rochelle's got a great one here about getting an unassisted handstand during quarantine, which is perfect because that's something you can totally work on at home. Awesome. And I like what she said. She thought it would just take practice, but then realized that there's actually foundational exercises she can do, build good form and strength. And now that I know that specific goal, I can give you some more specific exercises. Because sometimes, like, I want to play the piano. Well, I'm just going to play the piano a bunch. But are you actually doing good practice? Are there specific things that you can do that's going to reach that specific goal? So yeah, that's a really good point. Get more specific.
Yeah, way to go, Rochelle. That's awesome. Okay, so like I mentioned before, you're going to be categorizing your dream into a long-term goal, and then those 3 steps are short-term goals. So we want to first establish what is a good goal. Most of you, this is going to be familiar, but we're going to dig deep into it because we forget. So if you probably grade 5, I can't remember exactly, you probably came across the acronym a SMART goal, SMART. So that stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So that is going to be the definition of, is this goal a good goal? Is this something that you are going to be able to work towards to achieve?
Mm-hmm. So when you're talking about SMART, that would be your short-term and your long-term goals, because the first ones, they're actions. They're not, or are they goals, or are they like habits that build up to the goal?
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. So yeah, the steps that are going to get to a short-term goal, those, yes, absolutely should be habits. So it's just doing something every day, because the keys to those success is consistency. It shouldn't be about pushing yourself beyond your skill level. But if you are consistent with simple things that you are capable to do today, you will naturally gain strength. You will naturally build other skills and what you need to achieve eventually, that first step, that first short-term goal.
Okay, just a little throwback. We did do an episode on habits, and it is going to come around again. Habits is so important. So, okay, we start with habits. We get into our short-term goals. Let's define this SMART a bit more. So what does it look like?
So first of all, S stands for specific. So a specific goal is clear. Your brain automatically knows exactly what's expected and why it's important. Otherwise, it'll get confused. Confusion never brings results. It needs to be specific and important. So for example, I want to do better in school. I want to be a good parent. I want to go to the gym and do a good workout. Like, what does that mean? That's
What's
not
parent.
yeah, it's not specific. There's no context. What does good or well or all those adjectives mean? So you need to really narrow it down. Like in the fitness world, we might say, I want to lift a 10-pound dumbbell 2 more times with each arm than I did yesterday. And you have to know, obviously, what you lifted yesterday. So you really want to narrow down as specific as possible. And again, back to elementary school, what did we learn? The 5 W's. We can apply that here. What, why, who, where, when. That'll really help you narrow down, is this a specific goal that my brain will know exactly what is required? Like, what do I actually want to accomplish? The why is really important, because if you don't have a specific reason and benefits to accomplish this goal, then when things get tough, it won't have any meaning unless you can look in the future and see yourself with success with that goal and know that because I have reached that goal, my life is now, there's a transformation that has occurred. There's a benefit that has happened for me and maybe for those around you in your circle of influence. There's a greater reason to push through, that the hard work has paid off. So that's really important. The what, the why, who, maybe other people like a coach or a partner, family member is going to be involved. So you need to write that down. Where, specifically for workouts, like where are you going to work out? If you're still at home, do you have room in your house? Do you need to push furniture out of the way in your living room? Because if there's no space, you'll get up in the morning ready to work out and like, there's nowhere for me to do it. So you got to, make the space for it. Or maybe you're able to join a gym. Steph's gym is now opening up again. And then just as important as where is when. You need to decide, when are you going to do this? We'll talk a bit more about that a little bit later too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those questions are so important. I really like to focus on the why. If you don't know why, if you just go, oh, it sounds good, like you're not going to win. You're not going to succeed. You need a why for sure.
Absolutely. Okay, so S was specific, M is measurable. A measurable goal helps you know whether you're actually making progress and whether you've achieved it. If you don't know how to measure something, you'll never know if you reach the goal, if the target is there or not. So we need to put up very tangible benchmarks, we want to say. And this will also help you stay on track and motivated. You need to ask questions like how much, by when, all those things kind of to add on to the specifics of that. So yeah, do you have an example of that, Stephanie, when you were maybe growing up, of trying to do something in fitness because you've been doing fitness all your life, but not actually having something measurable? How do you know if you've attained anything? How do you know if you've improved? That's always the question.
Yeah, like in the sports world, it's a little bit easier to find those benchmarks. But in fitness world, I mean, Jas and I both grew up doing the home workout videos where you would follow along and you would do the same number of reps every time you do the workout at the same tempo every single time. And I thought, well, this is just how it is. So, okay, check. I did my 30 or 60-minute follow along workout. And then it wasn't until functional fitness where it kind of showed me, no, you need to increase your pace, or you need to increase your load, or you need to measure and hit this benchmark. And then all of a sudden it was like there was constantly a carrot to chase. And it was so exciting to me to chase the carrot, but also rapid progress that I never saw. And even like I loved boot camps, or I didn't enjoy just going to the gym so much, but like none of those other formats had that kind of every single workout had a trackable, measurable progress.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're creating these goals, you got to set in some benchmarks, and how am I going to measure it? If I can't measure it, then I'm never going to know if I'm going to reach it. So good. So S was specific, M was measurable, A is attainable. Now, I want to make a note that, again, the dream goal and the second and third level of the short-term goals, those should not be attainable yet. They will be, but they're not yet. What I want you to know is the first step, or the step that you're on, that needs to be attainable. It needs to be realistic. It's not gonna, I don't want you to have to push yourself to new levels at this point. I want the key to simply be consistency, commitment, faithfulness, consistency. I think, and just doing anything every day, brushing your teeth, whatever, that's going to develop a good mindset, a good foundation in your life. A lot of us have lost just the skill of consistency. So this process is so important. So the key is the step that you're on. It should be simple and easy enough to do. You just need to be consistent every day. You do it, you do it, you do it, you do it. And then after a certain time, you're going to have the strength and the skill and the mindset to be able to then naturally be able to do the next step and the next step. And that's where it builds from.
Mm-hmm. And when you start super attainable, you get those quick wins, which is the best way to cement a new habit. So it's got to be super easy, path of least resistance, get yourself started. Consistency, so key. But what happens when we mess up? Because none of us are perfect. So, we're off track. We didn't follow our habit one day. Like, what do we do? Are we done for?
No, you always get back up. No, we don't quit here. But because you're on a level where you should be capable of doing whatever it is that you've put in your action step, it shouldn't be hard. Sure, you missed a day, but the skill of it should not be the challenge. It's the mindset of, oh yeah, I got to do it. I got to do it again and again and again. So really, it's a mindset shift. It's not about your capability. You are capable because you're building up strength for later. But it's all about consistency. And this is going to be good for everything in life. Yeah. Marriage, fitness, everything will benefit from you developing the strength of being committed and faithful to these goals.
So if that action step is within your abilities and somewhat easy, it's easier to focus then on the willpower of actually doing it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're not asking you to do anything that you're not able to do.
Cool. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so S was specific, measurable, attainable, and now R is relevant. So again, we're coming back to why are you doing this? So you need to, when you think of a dream, and a long-term goal, you need to choose one that truly matters to you. You need to say, is this worthwhile? Is it the right time for me to do this specific goal and go forward to that? Does it match the other people's needs around me that are important to me? Is this moving the needle forward in your why? We talked a lot about that in our previous conversation 2 weeks ago about your audience of one and what is the core motivations of your life. So these big goals that you're going to invest time, you're going to invest money, perhaps you're going to invest a lot of stuff into reaching this goal. It's got to be important to you, because if it's not, it's going to be really easy to fall off track, because life will come in. We never said this is not going to be easy. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be days where you don't want to do this. I mean, getting up, even for us, we love working out, but there are days that I don't want to, but it comes back to, but it's a core motivation of mine. I will do this because that's what I do. I wake up and I will exercise. That's part of who I am. And I know all the benefits of it. So you have to know in your mind, whatever the goal is, whatever the dream is, why are you doing it? When you reach the end, will the transformation that you receive, that you become, is that enough of a motivation for you to put in the work today and tomorrow and the next?
Mm-hmm. Well, even that word like motivation runs out. So like is the cost worth the effort? Because you have motivation on day one, maybe day two, maybe day three, but then after that, like you got to know you've counted the cost and it's worth the effort. Therefore, you're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Thanks. Yeah, that's really good. Mm-hmm. Should we keep moving through?
Next one, T.
Yes. Okay. So specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and now T is time bound. So this goal that you are setting, it must be set within a certain time frame. A commitment to a deadline that will help focus your efforts on completing the goal before the due date. I think majority of human nature is procrastinators, right?
Yep.
Most of us are. We need a due date. We need something to say, that's what I got to finish it up by, you know? How many in college were cramming 2 a.m. to get those papers in when we've had months to do it? We got to have a time bound. So this process that we're talking about, it will work for any goal. It will work for any dream. No matter how elusive it is, you can make it into a long-term goal that is a SMART goal. For me, I find though that one of the best goals for me, and I used it as an example in the blog that I wrote about this, was to sign up for a race. And the reason that it was so helpful for me is because of this factor, the time bound. I signed up to, I wasn't much of a runner. I was more of a leisurely jogger, but I had this kind of desire to run the half marathon at Disneyland just because it looked fun. But that was enough of a motivation to do it. But I had to put in hundreds of dollars to secure my spot. I needed to buy a plane ticket. I needed to get accommodations in Disneyland. I needed to get up early and be in the park at 4 a.m. I don't know why. That was ridiculous. But like I had committed to be there. And if I didn't have that, I don't know why I would be running circles around Port Coquitlam 13 kilometers, 14 kilometers, 20 kilometers. Like, why would you want to run 20 kilometers for the sake of it? Like, I had a goal and I had a deadline, and that pushed me so much. So if you can somehow put in some event or just something important that will say, I need to get it done by this date, so powerful. You will accomplish that goal for sure.
So anyone who's listening, you can still put in the comments if you can think of that big lofty goal and you're not sure how to break it down into the 3 short-term goals. Just write down your big goal, and then Jas, can you give us like a quick overview of how you took the dream of the Disneyland Marathon? What were your 3 benchmarks to kind of give us an idea?
Okay. I can't quite remember the exact ones, but I mean, that was a very specific fitness track goal. So I think I was running like I was just a jogger, like through the trails that it's nice and cool in Port Coquitlam. And then I had to train to get the heat too of California. That was quite a drastic difference. Like, so I had to train my body that way too. But so I know it was mostly kilometer goals or mile goals, like distance goals. But then within that, I'd also be training the muscles that I'd be using more. So there was muscle conditioning, speed training, hill training. Those were kind of the steps. But each benchmark for me was a new distance, because I had never run past 10K, I don't think, at that point before I started training. But you know, the process just slowly, I break it down on the blog. If you go to a1fitness.com and look for it on the blog. But yeah, it was a fun journey for sure.
That's awesome. Off the top of your head, do you remember what any of your very first action steps were that you took?
Oh, I think the first one was like running 3 kilometers every second day for a couple of weeks, like just getting in the habit of running regularly, consistent, like 3 kilometers. That's not a problem, but it was getting into the habit of doing it consistently. And then on the off days doing muscle training, toning.
So this is from someone who's already been doing a lot of running. So someone else might go 3 kilometers every second. That's the long-term goal, and that's totally fine.
Yeah. So it was something I was able to do at that point. Yes.
So the same strategy will work with a variety of situations. So like Jasmine had a very specific goal, and it's kind of easier with running, and you can have specific kilometer benchmarks. But we want to kind of talk specific to people who maybe your big lofty goal is harder to define. You might say, well, I just know that I need to be fitter. Like I know my fitness needs work. I know I want to be healthy. I know I want to live to see my grandkids. I want to be able-bodied. And it's hard to kind of make that specific and measurable and all of the smart factors. So for a lot of people, it is just starting. And then from there, it's a little bit easier to figure out, okay, now I know I have this goal, and I know after that I can kind of reach towards this goal and this goal. So you can still have the same process, but you might be kind of building it from the bottom up instead of the top down. So I wanted to give a shout out to one of our members, and she started in September. And at the time, fitness background, but at the time was really struggling with energy. And she said, I'm so tired. Should I just have more sleep instead of exercise? Like, wouldn't that be smarter? And I said, like, in general, yes, I would say you want sleep, but try 3 mornings a week, force yourself to get up, do a workout, and then see what happens. See if that helps you fall asleep, and then get to sleep a little bit earlier, and see if the sleep gets more consistent, see how your energy is. And she started doing this, and her energy started getting better and better. And coming from such a strong fitness background, but being in not as healthy of a place, she was very smart and very consistent. And she kind of had she was so consistent, and just baby step after baby step, and doing workout. And now it's so fun to see, like, she's got goals laid out, and she's just blowing by all of the, like, within our AO1 workouts, we have 2 tracks. So blue program is more beginner, and the red program is more advanced, and she's right up there in the red program. And it's awesome when you've got that measurable system to be able to see the progress, even though maybe starting, it wasn't like, yes, I want to do the red program and I want to have this much weight. And like that may not have been the specific goal at the start, but the goals were able to come as each kind of achievement was met. There was a new goal there. So, like, to me, that process just keeps me so motivated. Like, there's always something to chase. Like, we're on a fitness journey. We're not ever at an arrival point of fitness, which keeps my interest anyway.
Absolutely. And she in particular has been really good about making every workout measurable. And she has written it down, to the details of what she did and accomplished, what weight she was using, how long it took. So she's been able to track instead of just, I'll just try to do the workout and keep up with the program, but she's been tracking. So that has also added to that efficiency of it.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to wrap up our goal session now, but feel free if you've got more questions in the comments, we'll check on them. More to say. Oh, sorry. Did I cut you off?
I just leave them with 4 tips. Okay. Sorry. I was supposed to mention it earlier, but okay. So just to recap. So you want to make it your dream, long-term goal, break it into 3 short-term steps, and then you fill in the holes with the action steps you need. Everything is in the workbook that we put the link in the comments here. So please download that. Everything is there. It's free, just for all the information you need. And the SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. And then just lastly, outside of that, I have just 4 goal or tips to leave you with. So again, I've mentioned this probably 100,000 times, but the key to success of this whole process is consistency. It has to be, you just keep doing it. You got to make the step that you're on achievable. You are capable of that step. If you're not capable, then you got to bring it down. So for instance, if you think, oh, maybe my step should be doing 10 push-ups, but 10 push-ups is too hard and you push yourself and you feel like it's just too much for you, then pull it back and do 3 push-ups every second day for 2 weeks. And then after the 2 weeks, try 4 or 5. And if that is then your new capability, then you keep going, and eventually the 10 push-ups will be completely achievable. And then that's the step you're on to keep moving forward. So it's all about consistency. Number 2, set yourself up for success. If you are not a morning person, you are not allowed, we forbid you to schedule 6 a.m. workouts. I don't care how many times you've heard the pros and even Stephanie do 6 a.m. workouts. Like, that's wonderful for them. But if you're not a morning person, do not do that, because that is a surefire way for you to fail early. And then you feel, oh, I can't accomplish anything. But that's not true. You're able to accomplish the goal. You just didn't set yourself up for success with the time. I'm an afternoon person. Steph is a morning person. So in our program, she coaches the morning program. She's bright and early and chipper. I am not, so I do the evening classes, and that's how we do it. You got to set yourself up for success. And next week, this is actually going to be the topic that Steph is going to talk more about, setting your environment up for success and getting that all laid out. So that's going to be a really good session next week. Number 3 is accountability. When you download your workbook, at the very end is your worksheet where you're going to fill things out, and you'll notice that you have to first sign it. So there's accountability with yourself, being faithful to the goals that you create for yourself. But you also need to make 2 copies, and you need to give 1 copy to either a coach or a partner or a friend, and you need them to sign it. And then we would recommend you set up some sort of monthly or weekly check-in with them so that they have permission to ask you, where are you at? How are you doing? So you've got accountability set up. We have that in our Thrive program. We show up together live, and we've got community groups, because accountability that's going to be make it or break it. You need to be accountable to yourself and to others. And feel free to jump in anytime too, Steph, if anything. And then lastly, number 4, here's just an optional exercise. If you write a letter to yourself from 1 month in the future, so let's say you have accomplished your goal. You're envisioning yourself fully accomplishing successfully this goal or this dream, and write a letter to yourself as if you've accomplished it, and tell yourself what the journey was like. So this is going to be really powerful for your mindset to envision and see in your mind's eye how you got to where you want to go. You will see the hurdles, you'll see the successes, you'll taste the success, you'll have emotion with your goals, and then read it, and read it often throughout your journey to this dream. If that doesn't make sense, let me know. But that's just one mindset exercise you can do to really get involved your whole self into accomplishing this goal. So those are my 4 extra tips for you.
Really good. Yeah. Yes. And last, Laura just put in a comment as well saying that applies to nutrition. And absolutely. I mean, this topic is goal setting. Your goal could be with finances. It could be job related. It could be family related. Like the same steps apply to all of them. So absolutely take it for however it applies to you. And yeah, like Jas said, next week we're talking about environment, which is not just about pollution outside. There's a lot to setting up the groundwork. So your first action step for whatever your goal is should have to do with either scheduling your workouts or scheduling what your action step is and setting the environment to make it the path of least resistance. So we'll unpack that more next week. And then our other announcement is that as we're talking about these goals and taking our first action step, we have an action step for you, inviting you this Friday at 8:30. So tomorrow, Wednesday, 8:30 is our very last Facebook Live workout, going out 8:30. On Friday, instead of meeting us on the AO1 Fitness Facebook page, we have a message us or reply in the comments, and we will send you a Zoom link and password, and you will get the taste of what actual virtual coaching in a class looks like. So you'll be with other athletes. We'll be able to see your form. We'll be able to correct you and encourage you. We'll lead you through a workout. You don't need to know anything. We'll explain all the movements. If you don't have equipment, that's okay. If you do have some dumbbells, have them handy. Yeah, we really love these virtual classes. So I'd love to have you join us and give it a taste. And then if you enjoy it, join our Thrive program and we'll keep walking through all our action steps together. So that's all my announcements. Anything else, Jas?
Yeah, so if you want to join that class, just either in the comments here, or we'll put a couple social media posts out tomorrow on the next day. Just in the comments, just say, I'm interested, and we'll private message you or send us a private message. Just we don't want to be putting out the passwords publicly. So just let us know if you want in, and we would love to have you.
All right. Until next Tuesday for AO1 Conversations, have a lovely week.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Take care.